this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. So we have the supply cup going right now, and there are quite a few options. Some of them are easier than others. Let me first show you the big boy of the Supra, the Toyota lineup, which is the Supra Aero Top T5. This one obviously will destroy supply cup because it's so fast that you essentially face your fastest opponent possible in supply cups. So this is a little tip. If you see the LaFerrari as your opponent, note that it is the fastest opponent you will get in supply cup, and it will run a 7.08 something. And if you can run under 7s in the quarter mile with any car of that brand, which is Toyota, you will have no problem basically cruising through supply cup. So this is obviously one of the options for people who've been playing a long time. Therefore, we don't really find this to be all that challenging because, hey, I can just blow right through it, and there's no chance of possibly losing because the opponent will never run under this. This is the fastest car of any supply cup. So once you see this car, you're running under its time, you will not lose in supply cup. This is the Aero Top, which, of course, is a fast and furious final car that not all of us have. Most new players would not have, but it is probably the easiest option in here because how fast it is. Okay, so I'm going to finish this one, then I will show you the other options, including the GR Supra itself, and also the easiest option, which is KJ's Toyota 86. That is the easiest car to use. It used to be KJ's FRS, but since Scion is no longer around, the game has changed it now to a Toyota 86. But KJ's car being the easiest for most players who actually have it, then followed by the Aero Top, or actually the Aero Top is probably easier, and then you also can use the GR Supra itself, which while it doesn't run a major down tune, it does quite well with just a regular tune as long as you shift it properly. So I'm just going to finish up here with the Supra. As you can see, again, if you're running under 7s, you have no chance of losing a supply cup. So that's always something to keep in mind for any brand where you already have a car that's that quick in T5. You're not going to really have any issues with supply cups. Okay, so we're at, I think, race 24 now. Okay, yeah, see, again, 7.08 is the lowest I've seen all the way through 25 races. I'm running 6.5s, so, gas, no. 6.5, so I'm not going to have any issues. I'm just going to finish this, then we can move on to the next car. Okay, here we go. Again, always the LaFerrari once you hit this point. All 25 races. LaFerrari. I would like to get a hold of a LaFerrari. That would be nice. But no chance of that yet. It's probably the rarest 5-star car to pull from any key. It's not the fastest. It's not the greatest. It's not even easy to drive. But everybody wants it because it's so rare. And it has some nice color options. I want the blue one. That's a really sharp looking LaFerrari. Okay, so again, I'm just cruising through here. I'm wrong. 7.075. But again, I have not seen a single one under 7. And there it is. Supply cup complete. All set. So what we're going to do now is move over to the Toyota GR Supra, and let's take a look at that car. Here I am now with the GR Supra, this season's actual PC car. So the GR Supra, as you've probably seen from various videos and even my Stage 6 effects video, it can get under dyno just by shift pattern. Now, it's not going to get under dyno by much, so it'll make supply cups a little bit tighter than, say, if you were doing it with the Supra Aero Top, but it's certainly fine to just run through everything with this car. There's nothing wrong with it. So here we go. All right, so with the GR, again, you need to short shift through the first few gears. That's the key. As long as you do that, you'll be fine. So let's take a look. Launch perfect, and then just short shift 2, 3, and get into 4 as quick as you can without completely bogging the car by shifting too early, and you will always run a little bit, either dyno or a little bit under dyno, which is all you need really to beat Supply Cup. This is why a stock car even works. Now, it's tight, but it's not impossible. And again, it takes a little more concentration is about it. It's not that you're going to struggle. And that's really true of Supply Cups in general. It's supposed to be slightly challenging, but not really impossible. Unless, of course, your PC car happened to really suck and doesn't even run dyno, in which case it's a little bit of a struggle. Most PC cars are not that bad. So this one, particularly the Supra here, it does fine. It's a little bit like a tuned down M40i in a sense, with a lot more wheel spin in the beginning. But see how it runs pretty well, and the opponents are kind of near you, but not quite exact. Now this does change. Sometimes you get a faster opponent, sometimes slower, especially near the end here. You may even get an opponent that'll run under your best possible time. It's rare, but it does happen. You just have to take that loss and, don't re-challenge. Just go back to garage, come back, get a different car, finish without a problem. So here, last few races are always the best to see difficulty, not the first few. So that's why I'm showing you the last 5 races rather than the first 5 races, which you should have no problem getting through anyway. All right, so Supra's doing quite well. Again, no need to really play with it too much. The tune is the standard 5.0 tune with low tire settings and just enough nitrous to get the highest evo you can given the parts you have. This one is stage 5. It's missing some fusions, but it's pretty close. It's just missing some epics that I just don't have yet, and there's no easy way to get. But that's why you run the supply cups, right? When it switches to the epic fusions, hopefully that'll give me the ones I need. Again, it's a T3 car. You only have a few epic fusions to put in, so you really shouldn't have a problem getting this car fully fusioned. Ooh, that was a closer one. But again, I got it. And yeah, so that's a poor run on my part. That's why. But I beat him by 2,000ths. I'll take a win. An inch or a mile, a win's a win, right? So I'll take it. So last 2 races, you definitely expect them to be the hardest, but not always. It really depends on what the computer does with the opponents. Some opponents are really fast and others are really crappy. Like this guy. He's just not that fast. I got him by a lot. A lot! Yes! Took him out. Look at that. Oh, well, actually he ran almost the same time as the other guy. But I ran better this time, so that's why. So again, a good run could make a big difference in the gap. And this is race 24. But again, also depend on the opponent. I've actually had closer runs even at 8.8s with a prior opponent who ran 8.8 something or 8.9, I believe. So every opponent's different. It looks like I got the same guy again. Well, at least similar car, right? Is this the same car? No, that's not. That's an LB. So anyway, this one's easy too. And there you go. Supply cup done. All the way. GR Supra. And I didn't even drive that well this time. Oh, it is the same guy. Same time at least. 9.066. So pretty easy overall with the GR. And again, launching and shifting is all it takes when you're using this car. So let's look at the easiest option now, which is KJ's Toyota 86. There's always obviously the stock 86 or a modified regular T186, but I'm not going to show that because it's just so slow that it's tedious to even watch it go down the track. But I will show you KJ's, which is the other option, and probably, in my opinion, out of the 3 so far, the easiest one to beat the whole thing with because you have a lot of margin of error. And here we are back with KJ Toyota 86. This is the other option. And finally, there's always the regular T186. But let's take a look at KJ's. Now, KJ's car, not a lot of people bother to build it or use it. I actually started building it and then realized I don't need to build it because I was getting the 250 GTO and I finished the boss runs with that instead, which was actually easier than trying to build this car because it does require some epic fusions to get through beating the T2 boss, Ashley. So, I kind of left it half built. now I'm thinking I may have to steal some of these back later. But anyway, let's take a look at KJ's for the purpose of supply cup. Now, one interesting thing about KJ's car, in fact, I need to show you to really make it clear here. If you kind of tune it, it doesn't really tune much, right? It likes to have the stock final drive. You can play with the tire a little bit, but generally it actually likes a higher, a lower grip, higher acceleration number. So, 59, 58, 57, right there. Nitrous, whatever it is, just get it to the highest numbers you can, and that's really the best place to be with the nitrous. So, car has some potential if you tune it right, but the real thing is this. So the dyno will tell you 12.6. Because this is your typical T2 car, it will run under dyno. And because it already runs under dyno, it's going to make for easy supply cups. That's really how it works. Supply cups are dyno based. It's always adjusted to the car that you have, unless, of course, you had the Supra Aero top, and then it just gives you the fastest car in the supply cup that you can always beat. So with KJ, there are two different ways to drive his car, right? You go this way, and then nitrous in second. It will still simply pull ahead because it already beats dyno naturally, so it's going to be a nice gap all the way through when it comes to the supply cup, because you're running 12.39 on a 12.6 dyno, and that car runs a 12.8 because it's dynoed against your 12.6. Plus, it's a slower car with less upgrades. Your opponents are pretty much easier, so there's just no way to lose in a sense. And that's why it makes it one of the easier cars to use. Not that you have to use it, of course, but it is the easiest. Now, there's another way to go even faster, and that is simply nitrous right away. You got to catch that second shift, or first shift, I should say, to second gear, so that you don't end up hurting yourself. But this actually runs even further under dyno. And that allows you to increase your margins. Now, you don't have to do this, but again, it's a little extra trick. Now, with this car, the thing is, you don't take this car into live and think that you're going to dominate for very long. Because it's fully maxed in stages and you can't lower those stages, what happens is the car bumps almost immediately upon racing in live. I've seen KJ's car in live, and I've lost to them, even with my Abarth and my Civic. And I know why, but those cars generally don't see me again after 2 or 3 races because they get pushed into a faster lobby and it becomes unwinnable. So it's okay. It's not a bad car. It's not terrible or anything, but it's just not that viable for live racing, and therefore it's not really viable for much. I mean, this is why it's been sitting, and probably been sitting in everybody's garages for the most part. You may throw some Toyota Fusions at it. Now you may regret throwing those Epic Fusions at it because you're going to need it for the GR. And it's going to cost gold to pull it off of the car. But, I made that mistake too. So, all right. Again, race 23 out of 25. We're just kind of cruising through here. Now, I'm going to go back. I said I wouldn't do this, but let me see if I can use that stock 86 I bought from the dealership for parts to try to run one. Maybe that car will. Now, I always say stock anything should be able to do the job. Of course, I've never really tested myself that much. So again, I can't screw up. This is going to be a lot tighter. So you can't screw up. It's a little bit, it's even tougher than the GR Supra in some sense, but your opponent should be pretty slow though. So like a typical slow T1. You just need to make sure you don't screw it up too bad on the launch. And then hopefully shift well. Okay. It's a stock 86 I bought for parts, but yet race 24. Oh no, he's catching up. This is not good. This is not good. No, I lost. Maybe I should have left it in third gear. All right, so there's your stock 86 option. It's a little tougher, right? But then again, I might be driving it wrong. So that's an option too. You can throw like a nitrous or two on it, or you can have a built one that you might have used when you first started. You can always tune that to beat dyno a little bit. That'll work as well. The 86 doesn't beat dyno easily though, so it's not the best option in my opinion, unless you're stuck with it. But KJ is a great option if you won his car. And of course the Supra Aero top if you ever won that. So, all right, so let's finish this. It's only 2 more races. Let's get it done. Now it's showing orange, but really with KJ's car, it really should show blue. I mean, that's how much of a margin you have that you really shouldn't lose. Okay, so I'm not going to use nitrous first this time. I'll use this second gear again. But again, you see how far ahead I'm pulling on the opponent. He's going to pull up a little bit. He may even catch up to here, but not really, right? So KJ being the easiest of the options here. And even without trying to push for a further dyno beating run, there's a nice margin of error here for KJ. Now, the only thing you don't want to do is forget to shift into fourth. Then the opponent will catch up. So the other thing is that it doesn't really need a lot of shifting. It just, it's just 1 and 2 and 3, and you're done. You just kind of watch it go down the track at this point. And mine doesn't even have that many fusions in it. You can actually do this with 0 fusions in it. It'll still do the same thing. You might want to use nitrous first for that setting, simply because it'll just make life a little easier and a little quicker to get through the supply cup. I mean, this is 25 races, and if you're doing them at like 13 seconds a piece, it takes a while. All right, let's get going here and get this done. Again, pretty easy. You're not going to have much of an issue here. So Toyota, fortunately, we have multiple options, unlike, say, a Kia or some other brands. But since it's not that new a brand, we're pretty much all set for supply cup for the season. So here's some of your options. There's no real, quote, easy supply cup tune for the Supra. You just got to drive it right. And if you have the other options, of course, you have your easy supply cup right here. Hey, thanks for joining me for the supply cup options. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And if you like the videos, please leave a like. If you like to get notifications when I put up new videos, please subscribe to the channel so you'll get notifications. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.